Good morning. It's a rainy Saturday morning today. That's okay. I really love it. So, this is the first time that we've had rain since we've been in the RV. So, sorry about last week. I went to a presentation. It wasn't here, but I welcome you back to the weekly Intuitive Wealth Leaders, where we bring internal and external wealth to the table. We want to grow our internal and external wealth, and we really need to work on both. So, I wanted to focus on a little bit growth. So, we're going to talk about growth, and um, I when I went to college. Um, I was, went through all of the psychology classes. That was my major. My major was psychology. I knew what I wanted to do going in. I was one of a few freshmen who knew exactly what I wanted to do when I went day one. This is what I want to do. These are the things I want to take. This is what I want to do. So, um, you go through psychology 101 and they teach you all the things, like the theories and all the things behind psychology, which make a lot of sense. um, but it wasn't till I went to my master's, actually it was funny. I went to my master's class and went into early childhood special education and took some classes in the education department. And I was told by one of the professors that I needed to study Abraham Maslow um, and Haim Ganot. So Maslow I had heard of, um, Ganot I had not, but it really changed my mindset as it pertained to behavior and the things that people do. So, um, today I'm going to start with a quote. It's actually an Abraham Maslow quote, so that's why I brought that up. And he said, "One can choose to go back towards safety or forward towards growth." So that's a choice. You're always making a choice. Growth must be chosen again and again. So you have to choose those hard things in order to grow. And fear must be overcome again and again. So that means we have to overcome our fear each time in order for us to make a step forward towards growth. So always talking about that fear versus growth and how we're in the balancing act of both. And so, I think that means a lot. Really helping people to be able to move forward towards their growth, which is what I love to do, is to help people move towards their growth. But you have to be, I think, just being cognizant of this is going to help you. So just knowing that you have to take that small step forward in order to grow. And you have to leave some of the fear behind. And we've talked about in the past, if it's not going to kill you, then you can probably do it and turn out okay, even if it doesn't turn out exactly the way that you want it to turn out. So uh, don't let other people tell you or make you fearful. Don't listen to all the naysayers, because then that creates more fear. So when you're in a position of making a decision and you're not sure what to do, but you have people who aren't very supportive, and they want to naysay everything and say, no, don't do that, or I'm so worried about you, I don't want you to do that, that's not a good idea because of XYZ, all of those things. That makes it even harder to make that decision, because you start listening to those people, and then it increases your fear. However, increasing fear is going to decrease your growth. So remember that. And so think about it this way too. I'm not saying don't ever listen to people, because a lot of times people really do have your benefit in mind. But actually put that through a process. Put that through a constructive thinking process of evaluating whether what they're saying is valid or not. And if there are some validities to what they're saying or their concerns, there are some truths to it. Are there things that you can do to put into place so that you uh, don't hurt yourself, as bad? So, when I think about wealth building and doing some of the things that we do in real estate, it's there's a lot of fear involved, and one of the things that we can do to protect ourselves from some of that fear is really having money available. uh, Having reserves and being protected, saves us from those bad things. When the bad things do happen, if we have the reserves, less it's less difficult to deal with when we have those things set up already to protect us from the bad things that are going to happen regardless. We know bad things are going to happen. It's inevitable. So plan for those. So listen to what people are telling you, assimilate it, evaluate it, think about the things that are valid, and then put them into a uh, decide what you're going to do about them. And so put some protective factors around those so that if they do happen, then you're prepared. And that's all you can do. So the point is, don't let the naysayers just say no, because they're going to stunt your growth. You're not going to continue to be successful if you're always listening to all the people who say, no, you can't, no, you can't, don't do that because that's a bad idea. Um, so I mean, I feel like that. If you have kids, you know that your kids aren't always going to have the same ideas that you do. Your kids are not always going to do the things that you want them to do. Your kids are not always going to think the same way you do. And really, all you can do is put out the things to think about. I'll talk about Michaela for a minute. She and Jet decided they wanted to move to Oregon. She got a job, which freaked me out. I'm like, oh my gosh, my little girl's going to move so far away from me. She's never been that far away from me. But, I couldn't tell her, no, don't go. And I couldn't, I mean, I could have. But what happens when people, insist on forcing their thinking and their thoughts and their beliefs and their systems on other people, it creates a divide. And I didn't want that. So, even though it was scary for me, I had to put out there, okay, here are some things that you need to think about. Things that are going to be different that I don't know that much about. You don't really know anything about either. So, things like taxes in Oregon are very different than they are here in Missouri or Kansas. I'm from Kansas, so uh, they're very different. And so, just putting those things out there. Okay, think about these things. Make sure that you're planning for these things. Make sure you understand what you're getting into. Here's where how you should evaluate the apartment and the neighborhood, having never been there before, and those kinds of things. So putting those things in place made me feel better, because I knew she had done her research and it wasn't just a shoot from the hip, jump in and go kind of thing. And so that's what you can do to help people grow. So don't just be a naysayer, just help them think about some of the downsides, just so they can consider them. Help them identify the barriers and help them find solutions for those barriers. Because In the end, you're there to help your friends, family, whoever grow, and that's important. So growth is always going to be part of us, uh, and it doesn't end with school. And so if you want to continue to grow, you have to continue to do things that are hard and do things that you don't like, and learn new things. So, what have you learned in the last week? What are some things that you maybe challenge yourself to do in the last week and or month, so that you can grow? And it doesn't matter what it is, and it doesn't matter how small it is, but there are things, if you think about them, I would challenge you to write those down so that you can look at them and see, here's where I grow. Here's what I learned. Here's what I improved this last week. And if you can do that as part of a regular routine, we talk about morning routines, being grateful, uh, writing down what you're grateful for. This is another thing that you can write down. Where have I grown? And I'm not just talking about as it relates to goals, but you personally, where did I grow? What things did I learn that are going to help me be a better person, a better mom, better aunt, better wife, uh, better anything, better student, better teacher? What are those things? So write them down. And if you're brave, drop them in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking and what you have identified for yourself that you learned, because I would love to hear it. So I am going to jump off and go on with my day so you can go on with yours. And I appreciate you stopping by. And please uh, drop a comment in the chat. I would love to hear from you, and I will see you back here next week. Thanks. Bye.